Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village surrounded by green hills and colorful flowers, there lived a boy named Rohan. Rohan was kind and gentle, but he had one big problem. He was terribly lazy. Every morning, when the sun rose and the roosters crowed, Rohan would pull his blanket over his head and say, "Just 5 more minutes." But those 5 minutes always turned into an hour or two, while the other children helped their parents in the fields or went to school early. Rohan would still be sleeping soundly. His mother would sigh and say, "Oh, Rohan, if only you used your time wisely, you could do something great one day." Rohan would just smile sleepily and reply, "Don't worry, Mama, I'll do something great tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. He avoided chores, delayed homework, and always found excuses to rest under the big mango tree by the river. The villagers often laughed and called him Lazy Rohan. One day, as Rohan lay under the mango tree, munching on a fruit and watching clouds drift by, he saw something strange. In the distance, dark smoke was rising from the forest near the village. He sat up slowly and squinted. Looks like someone's burning wood," he muttered lazily. But the smoke grew thicker and darker. Soon, a frightened deer ran past him, followed by a family of rabbits rushing away. Rohan's eyes widened. "Wait a minute, that's not just smoke. That's a fire." He jumped to his feet. The forest fire was spreading fast toward the village. Birds were flying away, and the wind carried sparks toward the wheat fields. Rohan's heart began to race. For the first time, he didn't feel sleepy. He felt scared. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him to the village square, shouting, "Fire! Fire in the forest! It's coming toward the fields." The villagers looked up in shock. Farmers dropped their tools, and children ran inside their homes. The village chief called out, "Everyone! We must stop the fire before it reaches our crops. Fetch water, buckets, anything you can." Men and women hurried to the well, filling buckets and running toward the burning forest. But the fire was spreading too quickly. Thick smoke made it hard to see, and the flames roared like angry dragons. Rohan wanted to help, but he had never done anything hard in his life. He looked at the people struggling and thought, "What can I do? I've never been strong or brave." Then he remembered something his mother always said. "Every big change begins with one small action." Rohan took a deep breath. "Okay, maybe I can do something small," he told himself. He ran to the village well and began filling buckets. His hands trembled at first, but soon he found a rhythm. He carried one bucket, then another, and another. He didn't stop to rest, not even once. Sweat poured down his face, but he kept going. Other villagers noticed him and shouted, "Look, Lazy Rohan is helping." Rohan didn't hear them. He was too focused. He filled and carried water until his arms ached. Then he saw the fire getting closer to a small hut at the edge of the village. Inside, an old man was trapped and coughing from the smoke. Without thinking, Rohan ran straight toward the hut. "Grandpa Karim, are you in there?" he shouted. The old man weakly answered, "Yes, my boy. I can't get out." Rohan covered his face with a wet cloth, pushed open the burning door, and rushed inside. The smoke stung his eyes, but he grabbed the old man's hand and helped him out. Flames licked the walls behind them as they stumbled to safety. When they reached outside, the villagers gasped. Rohan saved him. Someone cried. The chief ran forward and helped Rohan pour water on the spreading flames near the hut. The fire burned for hours, but with everyone working together and Rohan leading the younger boys, they finally stopped it from reaching the crops and homes. As the last flames died and the smoke cleared, the villagers cheered. The chief smiled proudly and said, "Today we have seen a miracle. The boy we once called lazy has become our hero." Rohan stood there, his clothes covered in ash, his face blackened with soot, and his eyes bright with pride. "I just did what anyone would do," he said softly. But inside, something had changed forever. For the first time, he felt the joy of hard work. He realized that being lazy had only made his life dull, but helping others made it full of meaning. The next morning, Rohan woke up early, before sunrise. His mother was surprised. "Rohan, you're awake already." He smiled and said, "Yes, Mama, there's a lot to do today. I want to help clean the forest and plant new trees." From that day on, Rohan was no longer known as Lazy Rohan. People began calling him Brave Rohan, the hero of the village. He worked hard, studied well, and helped anyone in need. Whenever someone felt tired or lazy, they remembered Rohan's story and said, "If lazy Rohan could become a hero, so can we." And as for Rohan, he often sat under the mango tree again, not to nap, but to rest after a day of honest work. Sometimes he would smile and say to himself, "All it takes to change your life is to get up once and try it." And from that day, the village learned a valuable lesson that even the laziest person can become great if they decide to take the first step. Moral of the story: no one is born great or lazy. It's the choices we make that define who we are. Hard work, courage, and kindness can turn even the laziest person into a hero.